As Nigerians celebrate Christmas, President Buhari enjoins citizens to reinvest trust in government. Correspondents capture the mood of Christmas in some major cities. Plus, federal government assures Nigerians of availability of petroleum products all through the Yuletide, cautions against panic buying. Hello, welcome to Christmas edition of the News at 10 on NTA News 24. We are broadcasting live from Abuja. Merry Christmas. I am MUSBAU Dan-WAHAB. Christmas all over the world are today celebrating Christmas, the birthday of Jesus Christ. Here in Nigeria, Christians are also joining their counterparts in other parts of the globe to commemorate the day. And now let's go to Lagos, where one of our correspondents, Abolade Salami, is right now at the Foursquare Gospel Church to give us some updates around Yaba in Lagos. Abolade, good to have you. Merry Christmas. Tell us the situation across there.
Merry Christmas to you also out there. Yes, I can confirm to you here that I am at Foursquare Gospel Church here in Yaba, Lagos. And as you can see from the congregation, what we observed when we entered here is that the congregation they complied with the COVID-19 protocols. What we observe here is that we see that there's social distancing amongst the members, and virtually every of the members are wearing their nose mask. And what the general overseer of the church is laying emphasis on is that every member of the church must comply with the laid down rules of the Center for Disease Control, that every member should adhere to every instructions that has been given in making sure that the second wave of the COVID-19 is really dealt with.
Thank you, Abolade. You have also been around town. Can you tell us what the mood looks like in town, in Lagos State? We're aware that the governor also has set out some protocols to curtail, manage the spread of COVID-19, talking about a larger gathering and social distancing. Tell us the mood in town.
Yes, I can confirm to you also that the mood in town has been so quiet while we're coming all the way from Victoria Island into this place. We noticed that virtually every shops and workplaces were shut, and few people we saw on the road were wearing their nose mask, and you hardly say to yourself that it is Christmas. Where we went to, we saw that people were just having little clusters, having fun and enjoying themselves, and those that are not able to make it to church are having one way or the other to make sure they have fun. But the general mood in town is calm and quiet. The road is devoid of traffic, and I can tell you that most churches and people in Lagos State are really adhering to the instruction of the Lagos State government in terms of making sure that they comply with the COVID-19 protocols of the government.
Abolade Salami, thank you very much for the updates in Lagos. Now, in spite of the events that characterized the year 2020, Christians against all odds are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ nationwide and across the globe. We have a guest in the studio to throw more light on this year's Christmas and what distinguishes it from previous celebration. We have Reverend Dr. Dapo Olayiwola, Senior Pastor, God's Glory Baptist Church, Karu, Abuja. We thank you for making it into the studio.
You're welcome.
Now, the world has witnessed a monumental health crisis that has cast a shadow and even altered the lifestyle and norms of people generally world over. How has this development affected Christmas festivities?
Well, we bless the name of the Lord. That notwithstanding the pandemic challenges all around, people are coping, people are adjusting for the fact that there is life. So definitely there is hope. And so, except for the fact that everybody must comply with COVID-19 protocol design, the celebration is still okay. People minimize going out. People minimize fanfare. People minimize, the movement, restrict the movement to the worship and praising God in their different locations and at their different individual levels. And so, the overall assessment could be say everything is okay. There will be end to pandemic very soon in our land and in all over the world.
All right, thank you very much, Reverend. And now, from what you've just said, it seems the prevailing situation has not taken anything really away from the celebrations. Now, can you tell us a bit of your observation between this year's Christmas and when you compare it with previous ones?
Okay. Well, because pandemic affected virtually every life structure, every life status, every life design, from economic perspective to social life. And so when it comes to economic aspect, there will be low key in spending and in celebration. So, but even then, that cannot remove the joy of Christmas. That cannot stop the joy of Christmas, because from Christian perspective, you don't have to be happy based on what you have or what you don't have. You have to be happy based on the grace of God upon your life. So celebration continues, irrespective of ravaging pandemic experience all over the world.
Very well. Celebration continues. Now, the president has admonished Christians and other citizens on comportment during this season and beyond. What's your take and any other addition to the admonition?
Yes. People should have the understanding that the situation is not particular and it's not peculiar to an individual. It's not peculiar to a state or a nation. It's overall effect in the world. And so nobody should, as a result of that, give up. Nobody should, as a result of that, misbehave. Nobody should, as a result of that, injure his brother, his sister all around. We should celebrate together. Everybody should extend help and assistance to one another. In fact, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion, you just must show love to one another, because this is exactly what the birth of Jesus depicts to us all over the world. Just love one another, celebrate one another, help one another, and let everybody experience the impact of Christmas celebration in time like this.
All right, Reverend Dr. Dapo Olaiwola, Senior Pastor, God's Glory Baptist Church, Karo, Abuja. We really appreciate your time and perspective on the news.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas to you.
I wish you the same.
All right, now let's go to the streets of Abuja, where our correspondent Victor Azu is standing by at the Methodist Church in Abuja to fill us in on the mood of a church service to mark this year special occasion of Christmas. Victor, tell us about what you have there.
I am at the Methodist Cathedral of Unity here in Wuse Zone 3. It's Christmas Day, and expectedly, Christians are going to church as expected. It's not a Sunday, but there is a special Christmas service on Christmas Day, and that is what is happening here. Many are here in church, those who haven't traveled to be with their families elsewhere, just to share in the joy of the season. Christmas means a lot of things, different things to different people. But to get the real message of Christmas, that's why I've invited the cathedral administrator, the very Reverend Nosayaba, to tell us about the significance of Christmas. Very Reverend, good morning and Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, good morning.
So please tell us, what does Christmas signify?
Well, we thank God first of all for being alive to see 2020 Christmas, and the significance is that the birth of Christ brought peace, brought tranquility, brought the unison in the world, and is the reason for the season actually, and that is the anchor of Christian celebration, because without Christmas there will be no Christianity at all, because everything is centered on Him. And when you remove Christ from Mass, from the Christmas you have Mass. So the significance is that He's all and all, and is the reason we are alive, and even after His birth and death is still the reason why we are still here today. Is the one that has been keeping us. So that is the significance, and Christians take it so importantly, and that is why they are here to gather to worship Him and to thank God for bringing that love which He brought down on Christmas to us.
All right, thank you very much indeed. But there is one more thing. This year has been like none other. There is the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people, as it is characteristic, will still want to travel. What will your message be to people as they move around the country at this time of the year on how they celebrate? What should be their watchword?
Okay. Well, like in my message this morning, I preached on the theme which I called No Room for Jesus, citing Luke chapter 2, verse 7, where there was no room for Him, and then He was now born in a manger. I want to advise Nigerians, I want to advise people to give Jesus a place in their life, to give people Jesus a place even in their traveling, to plan for Him, and when they allow Jesus into their life, every other thing will be taken care of. And I want to also say that they should be also careful, and like what I often tell my members here, that if you don't need to travel, especially with this pandemic, please don't. Jesus was not born in your village. Please celebrate Christmas wherever you are, and then be very careful, and then adhere to NCDC guidelines for the COVID-19, so that we'll be able to curb the spread of this second wave that is coming. So I will tell them to be careful and to allow Jesus, who is still standing at the door of our hearts. In Revelation chapter 3 verse 20, it says, He stands at the door of our heart knocking. If anyone opens for Him, He will come in. So I advise that we allow Him to come in, and to also say that in spite of the persecution that is ongoing too, in spite of the church attacks, I also heard now that Mandala Church has also been attacked now. I want to say that Christians should hold firm to Christ, and the Bible says many are the afflictions of men, He will deliver them from them all. God will deliver us from them all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much indeed, the very Reverend Nosayaba, Cathedral Administrator at the Methodist Cathedral of Unity here in Wuse Zone 2 in Abuja. Well, that's his message for Christmas, talking about the significance of the celebration. For us, we move on to other places because we'll give you something comprehensive for our subsequent bulletins on the significance of Christmas.
Thank you very much, Victor Azu, bringing us to speed as regards what is happening at a Methodist Cathedral at Wuse, and Reverend Father reminds you that Jesus was not born in your village. You can celebrate His birth anywhere. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We're taking a break, and still to come. Thanks a lot for staying tuned in to the news at 10, the Christmas edition. President Muhammadu Buhari has enjoined Christians and Nigerians in general to appreciate and appropriate the hope that comes with Christmas and reinvest trust in government's determination and unwavering commitment to restore peace, security, and prosperity to the country. In felicitating with Christians on the occasion of this year's Christmas, the president urged Nigerians to be optimistic and hopeful that the country will overcome existing challenges and rise in stature and status. He said, the Christmas season represents joy, peace, hope, love, goodwill, and imminent salvation were the values which Jesus Christ Advent symbolizes, which are very much needed in the country of this time. It reminded Christians of current efforts by the federal government to uplift the lives of the citizenry and promised that government will continue to provide the needed support within available resources to improve security in the country. The president expressed absolute confidence in the spirit of resilience of Nigerians to do the needful and remain vigilant even as this festive season witnesses increased travels and celebrations. And in the meantime, in line with the prevailing protocol put in place by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 restricting large gatherings, President Muhammadu Buhari will not be hosting the usual Christmas homage by religious and community leaders in the Federal Capital Territory. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Media and Publicity, Garuba Shehu, says the President urges all citizens to observe social distancing, use face masks, wash hands frequently and avoid overcrowding of public spaces, markets, shopping centers, offices and places of worship. The President equally appeals to citizens to discourage all non-essential travels during the holiday season. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, also is felicitating with Christian faithful and Nigerians in general as they join the rest of the world to celebrate Christmas. And a special message by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Olawuni. Senator Lawan notes that apart from the security challenge facing the nation, this year's celebration comes at a time when the world is confronted with a resurgence of COVID-19. Lawan, however, expresses confidence that the resilience and positivity of Nigerians would not only help Nigeria to prevail against the challenges, but also ensure that their strains does not stop a merry and responsible celebration of Christmas in the country. Similarly, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has called on Christians to use the period of Christmas to pray for continuous peaceful coexistence among Nigerians. He also urges Nigerian Christians to pray for the country to overcome the myriad of challenges facing the country, especially insecurity, and pray for leaders as well. But Jabiamila, while rejoicing with Christians, also called on them to imbibe the teachings of Jesus Christ, who he describes as a role model to all. The Speaker wants Nigerians to be vigilant and observe the COVID-19 advisory throughout the celebrations. Now, what feeling do you get at the sight of a beautifully decorated tree with a different sparkling light, especially at this time? Oh, Christmas tree or green, evergreen or changing? For many, the sight of Christmas tree is exciting, while to others, it may just be the usual Christmas decoration. In this upcoming report, Evelyn echoes Sample's opinion of people as to what Christmas tree symbolizes.
Oh, Christmas tree, you fill our hearts with gladness. Indeed, the Christmas tree evokes a feeling of excitement, love, joy, and peace. A Christmas tree adorned with ornaments and lights is a centerpiece of the festive season. But have you ever wondered where the tradition comes from? The origin of the Christmas tree dates back to the 16th century, when devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes in Western Germany. The Christmas tree has over time become a popular tradition at Christmas, used as a symbol to mark the season. The fir tree, which is the first tree used to decorate the temples, is now used as the symbolic Christmas tree. The Christmas tree has different meanings to people, most of which evokes the spirit of happiness and bonding the season brings.
I can't really mean, I don't know the history behind it, but I know the Christmas tree is always associated with the season of Christmas.
Whenever I see it, it reminds me of Christmas. There are people that are here in December, like they're not interested. They don't know that this Christmas period. But a mere looking at the Christmas tree is to give you a sensation that Christmas is at the corner.
It brings about unity. Then it promotes love.
Like it just reminds me of Christmas. Not necessarily traditional Christmas as Nigeria, but basically it reminds me of Christmas.
Christ's birth, according to the tenets of Christianity, is a reason for the Christmas celebration.
It's a season of joy. It's a season when we reflect on the love that God has for us.
So having a Christmas tree with its beautiful decoration around you this Christmas will help set your mood even better for the celebration. In you, Evelyn Badu, April, NTN News.
Now, motorists are applauding the seamless process of driving into petrol stations and topping up their vehicles this Yuletide. Some motorists recall how challenging getting fuel for movements can be during end-of-year festivities, especially for those who are traveling to see their loved ones. Now, Lydia Simpson reports that motorists are now optimistic that fuel scarcity will remain a thing of the past in Nigeria.
For many, last-minute rush to prepare for Christmas and New Year can be overwhelming. The additional stress of waiting long hours in queues to buy petrol is usually very inconvenient and painful. You'll therefore understand why for many it is accolades galore as they pray the burden lifted for motorists during this administration and this Yuletide season remain permanent.
There is no queue. We drive to any filling station and buy fuel and go. It's very, very convenient. We are happy.
You just drive in and you just buy.
This year there's no problem. There's no queue. I just came in now and you can see the place is empty.
This season, honestly, there's no scarcity.
Thank God now it's no longer like before.
Have a kind of a drive-in and buy your fuel despite the festive period. It has been a long time that Nigeria witnessed this kind of a thing. So we should give kudos to the government for doing that anyway.
Some petrol stations had more vehicles trooping into it than others. These, they say, are fuel stations motorists believe have more pump integrity. This petrol station manager and zonal area manager, there is simply no way scarcity can even ever be emergent in Nigeria anymore.
We have enough, more than enough. We have about 100 trucks waiting for dispatching at the Sulaja depot.
We have enough in all our stations. We have almost 12 to 13 stations, and I know all of them are selling right now.
In the past, long queues characterized every petrol station you visit, making it an Herculean task for motorists to travel seamlessly. But today, the story is different. It's almost a drive-in and out process, and motorists here are unanimous that government should be commended for making this one a seamless exercise. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
All right, thank you very much, Lydia. There's nothing as good as a seamless entrance into the fuel stations. Now, as you celebrate, remember COVID-19 is still much around, and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 1,041 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The latest figures are released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 81,963 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases from 23 states indicate that Lagos recorded highest number for the day with 316 new cases, while FCT has 210 new cases. Others are Kaduna 83, Plateau 70, Gombe and Oyo State recorded 56 new cases each. Katsina had 47, Nasarawa 35, Kano 33, Rivers State recorded 17 new cases, Niger and Imo State recorded 14 new cases each, while Delta, Kwara and Edo recorded 12 new cases each. Benue 9, Anambra 8, Ebonyi 6, Taraba and Ekiti State recorded 4 new cases each. The day's tally is completed by Bayelsa and Sokoto states, recording 1 new case each. Confirmed cases by states Lagos has the highest with 27,488, followed by the FCT with 10,479, and Kaduna comes third with 4,709 cases. With the latest development, total number of active cases stands at 10,412, while 69,651 cases have been successfully treated and discharged, while 1,242 patients have died from the COVID-19 virus, unfortunately. Now, these strains of COVID-19 are being studied by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, just as the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 announces new rules for inbound passengers from UK and South Africa. These were highlights of the Christmas Eve briefing by the PTF. Mitaire Ikben reports.
The nation's health authorities have been as concerned as Nigerians about the discovery of more deadly strains of coronavirus in the UK and South Africa.
What we're now doing is sequencing a random selection of those we've collected already to see whether that strain is circulating. Is it likely that it's circulating? Yes. There's a lot of travel between the UK and Nigeria.
All passengers coming into the country from the UK and South Africa on direct flights must use the Nigeria International Travel Portal to register, fill in their health questionnaire. They must upload a negative COVID-19 PCR result.
The PTF shall increase measures pertaining to those high-burden countries to scale down the possibilities of importation.
The international travel rules have become imperative to curb increasing COVID-19 positivity rate among inbound passengers.
270 passengers tested positive after 7 days against 129 that tested positive the week before. This represents more than 100% increase from the previous week.
The PTF reminds Nigerians that while they are on holiday, there is no holiday for COVID-19, hence the need to comply with all non-pharmaceutical guidelines. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Mitaire. And away from COVID-19, the federal government are resolved to address the problems of hunger and malnutrition in the country. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has set up an ad hoc technical advisory group to support the implementation of a 5-year national multi-sectoral plan of action on nutrition. A release by Laulu Akande, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, indicates that Vice President constituted the Technical Advisory Group at a virtual meeting of the National Committee on Food and Nutrition, a week after the National Council on Nutrition adopted the Plan of Action. Membership of the advisory group is drawn from the Office of the Vice President, Nigerian Governors Forum, Nutrition Society of Nigeria, Nutrition Partners Forum, Organized Private Sector, Academia, Research, Scaling Up Nutrition Secretariat of the Federal Ministry of Health, civil society groups, and the UN Nutrition. The Technical Advisory Group will provide high-level strategic advice and support to the Secretariat of the National Council on Nutrition of the National Policy on Food and Nutrition's vision and strategy, thereby facilitating nutrition positioning and comparative advantage to enable maximum impact. The National Council on Food and Nutrition, chaired by Vice President Osinbajo, at its last meeting approved the action plan titled the National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition 2021 to 2025, with a target of addressing nutrition and related problems across the country. And that ends the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We thank you very much for being part of it. Do have a wonderful Christmas celebration. I am MUSBAU Dan-WAHAB, but remember to connect with NTA and join the stand against rape and rapists. Good morning.
Thank you.